an exciting first two episodes that was so far. I mean, I don't know, from what I've noticed, it seems like most of what was in the trailer for season 4 was in a vast majority of these first two episodes for this season already. So that just means that the next 4 episodes for this part 1 and let alone the other 6 episodes for part 2 are just going to be completely like whatever they want. I mean, sure, we still have Brother Blood's story arc that still needs to unfold and everything, and him emerging from the blood has still yet to happen for those that haven't seen the first 2 episodes yet already. But no, I generally liked it. I did like how, aside from the whole Superboy plot that was in the first episode, which was kind of more of a subplot, the whole episode kind of revolved around that. They were going to Metropolis for Superman. So aside from the Superboy plot in the first episode, for the most part, for these 2 episodes, I felt like it was an actual like team episode for both of them. Like it felt like there was no main central character as much as there was like you got to see each individual character have their own each individual story and each individual time to shine. Like you saw Rachel with her powers. You saw, honestly, Dick Grayson probably had the most backseat of it all, which is great because I kind of wanted that to happen this season after 3 seasons of him being the main character. At least for these first 2 episodes, it looks like he's just kind of taking a backseat where he's either driving the Titans in the RV or he's, he is fighting ninjas, that is a thing. Or if he's, encouraging Superboy to either not see Lex Luthor or to see Superman, or lastly just to be a bodyguard for Rachel when she's out being the investigator for like magic and everything. You know, he's not so much the focal point, I guess, for this for these 2 episodes. Like it's definitely, again, like you still have like Starfire learning her new abilities. That's still a story arc. Beast Boy, you're already seeing that he's showing signs of getting into the red and like finding out like what's going on with his animal transformations and why is he blacking out of them now and everything. That's already being established. Tim Drake and the Bow Staff and his possible feelings for Bernard is already being established. I think aside from Crypto, I think that's pretty much everybody that's considered a Titan at this point, and they're all pretty much like getting involved in stories. We already know Dick's story with Batman and everything. We feel like we pretty much accomplished that in season 3. But no, with that being said, I really enjoyed Lex Luthor, the episode. I enjoyed Lex Luthor, the character. I thought it was an amazing twist how like they kind of made it seem like he was going to be a big part of the first 4 episodes of the 12 episode season, and then they kill him off in the first episode alone. I thought he was even more interesting with Mother Martha, the episode, and the character, how they introduced the character a little bit and kind of like play her out as the big bad mainly in the first episode, and then in the second episode, it's honestly more about Lex Luthor's death investigation than anything. It's really more just a detective episode figuring out like what actually killed Lex Luthor, and that just goes to show that Lex Luthor does still have an impact on these episodes if his death is still involved, of being a focal point for the episode. It was just interesting finding out like again a little more about Corey and like what's going on with why is he investigating and why was there a reason for that, and that, obviously those are questions that was asked in the second episode, and we're going to probably get a little more into that. But going back to the character of Mother Martha, I like how she was introduced as like the businesswoman that was working with Lex Luthor, so it kind of shows that Lex was really the one that kind of chain-balled everything that happens in this season, but now that his purpose is fulfilled, kind of like Ed Stark in season 1 of Game of Thrones, he's no longer of needed value, but his death is still somewhat of a means to discuss, again, just kind of like Edward Stark. I like how in Mother Martha, the episode, the character that the episode is named after isn't really featured until the last 12 and a half, 13 minutes of the episode. So you pretty much go through the whole 40-something minutes, 30-something minutes of the entire like 40, 50-minute long episode, and she's not really featured until like the final, like, I guess, third, fourth of the episode, which I thought was pretty interesting because for me, that made me build up to, okay, what is she going to do? What's going to happen? what's her big moment, why is this episode named after her, what's the significance of naming the episode after her, and what's her use for it. And then they make you wait until the end of the episode, which I thought was a great idea, by the way. Or I at least enjoyed it. I don't want to oversell it. I just thought it was cool because you do see what she plans on doing. Like the first 2 episodes of season 4 definitely kind of hinted that Rachel's powers are definitely going to be conflicted, or like there's definitely going to be effect on them with this cult of Azarath, especially since her mother's last name was Azarath, and like in the comic books, her most known phrase is Azarath Methrion Synthos. I don't know why I started saying that. But like it is cool that in this episode, for the first time in the entire series, we actually hear that being chanted. I think in like, if I looked it up and remember correctly, I think 36 and a half minutes into the episode. No, 46 and a half minutes into the episode. So like a good minute or 2 left of just people chanting those 3 words that we've been probably waiting to hear since, or most fans have probably been waiting to hear since 2018. But that was really good. That kind of helped with the build-up. Like the Church of Azarath is forming. Brother Blood is kind of building up to his ego a little bit, even though he's trying to fight it. But at the same time, it's kind of leading towards that being the direction he's going to go towards anyway. So that was pretty interesting. But no, I do like how it kind of showed Rachel's powers being taken to effect, and then it really ended with Rachel's powers being taken from her. Or as far as we know, they're taken from her, they're going to be used to help with the cult of Azarath. Now, does this mean Trigon's going to be a character later on this season? Like, they've already hinted Deathstroke being a character later on this season. But does that mean that since it's the Church of Azarath, and Azarath in the comics was kind of designed as a safe haven from, interdimensional demons like Trigon, is this, and like we know they got taken over by an organization and everything. Well, maybe not Azarath themselves, but we know Angela Azarath was taken by an organization that was working for Trigon, and even Angela herself was working for Trigon. So it's very possible that the Church of Azarath, even though in the comics, like I said, and granted I don't know that much information like other people would, might have been a safe haven. Maybe in the show, and we might even find out more about this, that it's actually more of like an occult for Trigon. And again, maybe that's why her powers were taken in just the 2nd episode. Maybe that's going to be a huge part, I do like how you can kind of see like Brother Blood working with a lot of taxidermied animals in the 1st episode. And that got me thinking about Beast Boy. He has the ability to transform into different animals. And we've been told this season that Beast Boy is going to have a heavy involvement this season and have a lot of animal transformations. And we already know Brother Blood's going to be this big character. We don't know if he's going to be the big bad anymore or not, but we know he's going to be this big character in this season. So is it very possible to put 2 and 2 together, Brother Blood, Beast Boy being big characters this season? Is it possible that, just out of speculation with Rachel's powers, we knowing back in my theory videos that I've made that Rachel's powers and Gar they kind of different from other people. Is it possible that all 3 of these things are going to be connected? Especially since it's worth mentioning that when Trigon was trying to turn everybody evil in the house back in season 1's finale and even season 2's premiere, he wasn't able to turn Beast Boy. And we know this because in season 2's, I think, finale, Rachel even brings up the fact that that Trigon wasn't able to turn Beast Boy dark, implying that he was trying to, just was failing at it every time. But is it possible that Trigon, the resurrection of is it possible that Brother Blood, the Church of Azarath, him being the leader of the Church of Azarath, allegedly, possibly, Rachel's powers being taken and Beast Boy's powers being altered and him having a different effect on Rachel's powers than everybody else that we know so far? Are all these going to be intertwined things that are going to happen throughout this season, or am I just really spitballing just from the 2 episodes and what little information I have going forward from the other seasons, or going from the other seasons? But I don't know, it just sounds very interesting. I'm definitely kind of intrigued what's going to happen because, like I already said, most of the stuff that happened in the trailer, for a good portion, aside from the hand rising, the staff going on, unless that happened in this episode, All but a few scenes, like Rachel and Gar talking at the tree, like that he saw in the second episode. We haven't seen that yet. Like, there's only like maybe like a slight handful of episodes or clips. I mean, I should say. There's only been a slight series of clips from that trailer that we didn't see in these first two episodes. So it's very, which I enjoy. Like I said already, like I enjoy because that makes it to where the rest of the season, we have no idea what's going to happen. We have to get involved with the rest of the season if we want to know what's going to happen and what's going to unfold this season, because everything we thought we knew has already been shown to us in a way already. But anyway, I feel like that's pretty much everything I have to say about these first two episodes. Aside from the fact that I think it'd be pretty cool to see Superman this season. I'm not a big fan of Superman, but the way they were kind of painting him in the first episode this season tells me either one of two things. He's either going to make an appearance later on for Connor later on this season, or it's going to be the other effect where they're just not going to have Superman in here, and Connor, even though he really wants to see both of his dads and the other one's now dead, that he just learns that he can be his own person, not like a version of one of his two dads, even though I don't think that's really the story. I think he just wants to know them. But I don't know, it's possible that he might just become his own independent person and Superman just doesn't get featured at all. Or it could be this whole, like, it continues the story arc that started with what we think is going to happen with Superboy, and we're eventually going to meet him. Like, he's been told he's going to meet him by, like, Dick and I think Brandon, or at least Dick twice. So who knows? Maybe, or Bernard, not Brandon, Bernard. But who knows? Maybe that could be either or. Like, there's still like 10 episodes from this season to decipher from. I mean, heck, like we didn't see Batman until season 2, and he was mentioned throughout season 1 of Titans.